This video will explain how the Metropolitan City of Florence works and its main activities. The Metropolitan City of Florence was established in 2014 by Law Number 56 with 10 other metropolitan cities in the regions with ordinary statutes, such as Turin, Milan, Venice, Genoa, Bologna, Bari, Naples, Reggio Calabria and Rome, the capital. There are also 4 metropolitan cities located in the special statute regions, such as Cagliari, Catania, Messina and Palermo. All in all, the metropolitan cities comprise 1,268 municipalities covering 46,000 square kilometers and 21 million residents. As far as the Metropolitan City of Florence is concerned, the resident population in 2021 was almost 1 million inhabitants for a territorial surface of 3,514 square kilometers and 41 municipalities. As mentioned, the Metropolitan City of Florence was established on April 8, 2014 and started operating on January 1, 2015. It borders with Metropolitan City of Bologna and the provinces of Prato and Arezzo, with a population density of 288.49 inhabitants per square kilometers. What are the many and diverse purposes and duties of the Metropolitan City of Florence? They range between data collection and processing, technical administrative assistance for local authorities, the integrated management and promotion of services, infrastructures and communication networks, institutional relations, control of discriminatory phenomena, adoption and yearly update of the Metropolitan Strategic Plan, school network planning and management, the coordination planning of mobility, roads, and environmental enhancement, and the promotion and coordination of socioeconomic development and IT and digital systems. Alongside the Metropolitan City model, there are other European types of such authorities, namely the Berlin, Bremen, Hamburg, Vienna, Madrid, and Brussels model. They are true city-states recognized as having special legal status and have duties such as transport planning and organization, duties which are performed jointly with the individual local administrations. Else, there is also the London model, which is the only authority established by an Act of Parliament to perform duties related to infrastructural and territorial planning in the metropolitan area. While the French Metropolitan Cities model is planning-oriented, in close connection with the municipalities and the area's main economic, social and cultural stakeholders. Finally, the Barcelona model, where the metropolitan area is just a territorial reference framework for functional cooperation between local administrative players. Mobility is a particularly relevant issue for the Metropolitan City of Florence. Such challenge in terms of modal distribution of motorized traffic is as follows: 2.9 million car rides, 110,000 train rides, 126,000 tramway rides, 340,000 urban bus rides, and 33,000 extra-urban bus rides. As to economic and tourist development, metropolitan cities are the driving force of economic development, competitiveness and attractiveness. More specifically, the Metropolitan City of Florence creates 37.10 billion euros, which account for 2.34% of the added value provided by all the 40 metropolitan cities nationwide. In the last pre-pandemic year, 2019, Metropolitan Cities hosted 31 million foreign visitors, i.e. 47% of the total foreign tourism in Italy, as by data of the Italian National Statistic Institute. As to logistics poles, the strategy of the Metropolitan City of Florence is to implement the intermodal exchange network in the area through strategic spots or junctions in the infrastructural network, namely a system of intermodal nodes called hubs, classified as to the level and type of accessibility in the various areas. With regard to knowledge hubs, the Metropolitan City of Florence considers the network of both public and private Italian and foreign universities, as well as research institutes, as strategically important in a higher education network, enhancing their potential and increasing their attractiveness. Building on the high quality of the Florentine University research system, the Metropolitan City fosters cooperation between university lecturers of the University of Florence and of Florentine research institutes in the fields of physics, biochemistry, optronics, and physical chemistry, as well as with other prestigious centers of higher education, in addition to foreign university and international research poles, and many art and design private schools and academies part of the creativity system. Let us look now at the main planning instruments of the Metropolitan City of Florence, such as the Metropolitan Strategic Plan, the Sustainable Urban Mobility Plans, or PUMS, the Metropolitan Agenda 2030 for Sustainable Development, and finally, the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. Concerning such plan, metropolitan authorities shall manage investments for about 4.5 billion euros estimated resources. In detail, the Metropolitan City of Florence is the recipient of such funding, totaling over 160 million euros. The main investments will go to school buildings, social infrastructures, families, communities, and the third sector, culture and inclusion, the restoration of Villa Mondeggi, digitization projects, urban parks and squares, as well as sports facilities and areas, cycling mobility, and an innovative housing quality program. In detail, for the Innovative Living Quality Program known as PINQUA, 29 interventions are planned for 30 million funding. 48 million euros will go to Villa Mondeggi's restoration. In addition, 12 million euros shall be allocated for fire and seismic retrofitting of school buildings. An additional 15 million euros will go for retrofitting and redevelopment works. 102 million euros will go to 17 projects, including integrated urban plans about culture, social inclusions, sports, and well-being. About 1 million euro will go to the realization of the Verona-Florence Sun cycling route, and again 14,000 euros shall be allocated to digitization projects. Let's now look at the national plan complementing the National Recovery and Resilience Plan. The National Strategy for Inland Areas provides for a 300 million investment for inland road maintenance for roads falling under the responsibility of the Ministry of Infrastructure, with the provinces and metropolitan cities executing the works. The Metropolitan City of Florence shall receive almost 4.5 million euros to improve road accessibility and safety in the Mugello, Bisenzio, and Val di Sieve areas, with yearly interventions scheduled between 2021 and 2026. As to urban reforestation, namely the protection and enhancement of urban and suburban green areas, a series of actions are planned for metropolitan cities to improve citizens' quality of life and well-being in all municipalities through reforestation measures to combat problems linked to air pollution, the impact of climate change, and the loss of biodiversity. In this chapter, the Metropolitan City of Florence shall carry out 7 projects of urban reforestation and production areas ecological enhancement for over 3.2 million euros. The Metropolitan City of Florence works in cooperation with many other authorities, and memoranda of understanding between metropolitan cities were signed over the years. Specifically, Bologna and Florence signed a memorandum of understanding mainly to promote the international role played by the two cities in a synergic manner. And again, the European networks are essential in the construction of a political debate space to build the joint future of European cities, especially Eurocities and metrics. Thanks to the Association of the Italian Municipalities' continuous support, inter-metropolitan working groups were consolidated for resolving common problems, such as the projects linked to the Recovery and Resilience Plan. Yet, the Metropolitan City is not just responsible for organizing supra-municipal services, but also for exercising the principle of subsidiarity. The regulation directs the authority to provide for joint organization of metropolitan and municipal duties, possibly by territorial areas according to principles of simplification, economy, and efficiency. Many and extremely broad types of cooperation in the provisions of the various statutes exist, providing, among other things, for creating joint offices using the offices of the metropolitan cities, framework agreement for institutional cooperations, operational protocols, and other lighter forms of functional cooperation on a case-by-case basis. All information can be found on cittametropolitana.fi.it.